Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Kerbal Space Program and the Interplanetary Chase. We have a problem we need to solve, and pretty urgently in fact. In the last episode, of course, we sent the Kerbal Orbital Lab to the moon. We also sent a lander to the moon to get some more, do some science, bring it back up to the Kerbal Orbital Lab, or so at least that was the plan. The lander has in fact ran out of fuel and is currently stranded in low moon orbit, and as a result, we need to build a vessel that will be able to go and enact a search and rescue mission to save the 3 souls on board and hopefully the science along with it. So of course, you join us in the vehicle assembly building while we attempt to build a vehicle that matches that description and that's hopefully able to go and rescue these Kerbals. Now, owing to the mistake that we made previously, this is going to be an unmanned mission, purely because ultimately, if this thing also doesn't have enough fuel, then we're not going to strand any more Kerbals, right? So, here we go as we finish placing our electric generation Smarty-Gs and some solar panels. Looks a little bit ugly, I must say, but the point is, ultimately, this whole thing's going to be in a fairing, and you're not going to see it until it's out of a fairing in a vacuum anyway. So here we go. We don't need to expand this fairing, which is good. It kind of sits nice and flush within the 5 meter fairing, which means we could just go ahead and build a rocket directly underneath. So we have a tiny little fuel tank, engine plate, we're going to go boat tail, quad design with 4 Terrier engines, boat tail as well, move those up so they clip in and look nice and cool. Wonderful, and now we need a decoupler, we need to offset that up a little bit, followed by another fairing so we can close that gap. Maybe a smaller fairing, because I don't think sloped fairing would look particularly cool. So here we go. And we stage that fairing, maximum ejection force, clamshell design, not forgetting the RCS thrusters. And we need another nice big fuel tank. I'm wondering if this is actually the 5 meter fuel tank, I'm not particularly sure, but regardless, this rocket's looking good so far. I think we need maybe a Corgi engine, if not maybe a Mammoth. A Mammoth seems to look quite cool. I don't think we need any solid rocket boosters. Although, of course, we do need some Separatrons to pull this stage away. So we're just going to offset that in on our local settings. There we go. Wonderful. And I think we're more or less ready to go. Not forgetting the parachutes, of course, for the booster stage. We may be able to return this. Odds are we probably won't, but it's worth a shot, right? And of course, not forgetting the fins as well, to aid with aerodynamic stability during our ascents. And here we go then, this is our vessel, and let's go. So, off to the moon. And this thing's thrust to weight is pretty good, all things considered. That Mammoth engine is doing us a world of good. I'm surprised how much power this has given the payload we've got. I mean, the booster stage in itself is quite heavy. It's got 2 of those massive fuel tanks, and of course we have a refueling vessel on the top, which as it stands is just dead weight. But by the time we get to the moon, if we can, then hopefully that will change. Here we go, and pulling back on the throttle and coasting up to our apoapsis, currently at 100 kilometers, so that's way out of the atmosphere and we don't have to burn any more than we already have. Get rid of that fairing, and here is our refueling vessel. I'm aware that it's not necessarily making contact with the decoupler. That's a bit of a flaw with my kind of fairing designs and the decoupler designs as well. But I mean, all things considered, it's got struts onto the actual fairing itself, so I think it's okay. As that stage runs out of fuel, we can switch to our transfer stage here. So here we go. I mean, it's not necessarily a transfer stage, is it? But I mean, it's what we're using it for. I don't know how much fuel it has and how long it's going to last, but we'll give it a try. I mean, it's what it's there for, so here we go then. As those 4 Terrier engines are pushing us along very slowly. And once again, say it with me, ladies and gents, burn prograde when the moon comes up from the horizon, and odds are you will end up with an encounter. Although the problem being this time is that it needs to be a somewhat precise encounter, because of course this is a rescue mission. I'm not particularly sure why we're wobbling like we are. I'd guess it's something to do with the gimbals on the engines, and of course we can go ahead and switch those off Although at any stage, I don't think there's much points given that we're about to run out of fuel on that particular stage anyway. So there you go, out of fuel. Switch to our onboard engine on the refueling vessel to complete the lunar encounter. And then of course from there it's just a matter of setting up a manoeuvre and hopefully getting a nice little rendezvous with our vessel. So here we go then, time warping towards the moon. Our periapsis is a little bit high, so we're just going to time warp to our periapsis here. And we need to circularise for one, because there's no good trying to do orbital manoeuvres if we're in escape trajectory. So here we go then. You can see that our moon escape node is slowly starting to curve inwards, which means we are starting to circularise. And for a nice change, we're not in a retrograde orbit. We have managed to match orbital directions with the station, and more importantly, the vessel of which we're attempting to rescue. Here we go, starting to curve properly now. And any time now we'll end up with a capture. There we go. And of course, let's just warp to the apoapsis, because we can bring our periapsis down a bit more efficiently from here. We need to bring this down to roughly 20-ish kilometers, although it might take more than one pass, because of course we need to do the same with our apoapsis. But so far so good. Wonderful, so we're down to our periapsis now. Time to bring our apoapsis down to more or less the same altitude. I'm not too concerned if it is a little bit wonky. Reason being is because it's all well and good matching orbits, but we only need to go ahead and correct our orbits anyway through an increase of nodes or decrease depending on where we are relative to the lander in order to secure an encounter. So here we go. As you can see, our apoapsis doesn't completely match our periapsis, but that's fine because once again we need to set up an encounter with our lander, and of course we need to burn prograde to do that anyway, which kind of contradicts the whole circularization we just did anyway. So no matter, as we managed to get a relatively close encounter, so we'll go ahead, warp to that maneuver node and see if we can pull that off. And here we are then, roughly 30-second burn, so we'll go ahead and perform that. And as you can see, maneuver node is slowly decreasing as we complete our burn. And that's that. So theoretically we have a close encounter. So let's warp around to this, and as you can see, the station is only about 6 kilometers away. Not station, sorry, the lander. So we're going to burn retrograde to our target in order to match orbits now that we are in a relatively close position with one another. And relative speed to the target is now 0.1 meters per second, which is good because that means we can just point towards our target, burn for a little while, and eventually we can just cut the engine and coast towards where we need to be. So once again, now we're this close, we can point anti-target or retrograde target-wise, depending on which you prefer. I don't think that makes much of a difference, to be honest, but no matter. Here we go then. We have arrived at our stranded lander. So what we're going to do is we're going to point the lander radial out, so it's pointing directly upwards, which means we can point our rescue vehicle towards the target, hopefully being the docking port. As you can see, we have plenty of RCS in our docking modes. And from here, it's just a matter of coasting in ever so nicely and getting ourselves attached to the docking port. It's already open, as you can see, and we're very close. Just let the magnets do the work now. And we are docked. Wonderful. So, hello Kerbals, we're here to save you. First things first, we need to fill up the tanks, because what good is a lander with no fuel? Of course, we also need to get the lander docked with the station so we can transfer the ore. In terms of the science we've gathered, I think we may just end up bringing that straight back to Kerbin. Reason being is because, if I remember correctly in the previous episode, we attempted to add some more experiments to the lab the mobile processing unit, but it said that it was actually full and it couldn't take any more data, so I figured there's no point trying to move any more science across. We might as well just move the ore over to the lab. Quick reload there into the graphical bug. I have since realised what's causing that, and I have since fixed it. I believe it's using HDR on the ToughFX mods, which I've got installed. So I must apologise. You can rest assured, guys, that that bug has been fixed in episodes moving forwards from this one. So here we go then, as we finished refuelling. So I think we can just go ahead and leave this particular vessel in orbit around the moon as we do some more science. I'm aware that it is only liquid fuel it has on board, but it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it, of course. So here we go then. We've made a new manoeuvre, which should take us directly up to an intersect with the station. It's quite easy to do from an orbit lower because we're going faster than the station, and of course by increasing your periapsis at a certain point you're eventually just going to end up going straight up, so to speak. So here we go then. Lovely little encounter we have. So let's just time warp up to this. Just collect all our experiments, and there's the station. Love it. So here we go then. Once again, just killing our relative velocity. Time to point towards our target. Burn towards that. Closing speed of about 25 meters per second, not too bad. Point anti-target, and eventually coast up nice and close to the station, and we will be killing our relative velocity. And here we go, roughly 200 meters away. So it's time we look at attempting to dock. I'm not too sure if you guys saw, but of course we did also fill up the monopropellant tanks on the lander from the refuel vessel, because we were actually running a little bit low. And for whatever reason, the station is going a little bit wonky, but we just had to switch back to it, enable the stability assist, and here we go then. So just coasting towards that top or bottom docking port. I'm not particularly sure which one it is on the station, but it doesn't matter. There's no up or down in space, and more importantly, we need to get this all delivered to the station in one piece. Well, not one piece, I assume the ore would come in many pieces, but whatever. So here we go then, killing the engines, we're nice and docked. Just going to point towards our prograde marker, as that will be where our solar panels are most effective. Well, not that they're very effective at the moment, given that we're on the dark side of the moon, but here we go. I only say that because, of course, the convertitron needs quite a bit of power. And the more we can sustain that power, then the better, of course. So here we go. As you can see, our ore levels are decreasing, which means we are doing a ore conversion, which is good. At the moment, it looks like we're just doing that for some liquid fuel. Just going to time warp through this process because it can take quite a while. And that is us done. We are now out of ore, which means we can stop the convertitron. We can decouple the lander, or the miner better yet. And it's time to get our three Kerbals home after what I can only assume was a very strenuous time for them. So here we go. Escape trajectory from the moon towards our retrograde marker. And we need to bring our periapsis down in the atmosphere, which we have very much done. So of course, time to fire up the engines for one last time. Point towards our manoeuvre nodes as we do a couple of experiments on the way. And here we go. Time to burn, which should get us into a moon escape trajectory, and we will be re-entering Kerbin's atmosphere at interplanetary speeds, or at least not interplanetary, but regardless, it's not going to be a smooth ride, but it's the last thing we need to do. I know we do have the fuel, of course, to perform a nice circularization around Kerbin and subsequently a couple of error breaks as we get the graphics bug once more, but where's the fun in that, right? So here we go. We can decouple and do a quick save just to make sure that actually doing a quick save is a little way I've discovered to kind of fix the graphics bug, but as you can see, it hasn't really gone to plan. So just going to go back and reload. Here we go. And it's time, ladies and gents, for our inevitable re-entry into Kerbin's atmosphere. So here we go. Gravity scan, collect all our data. So we point retrogrades. And it looks like we're going to be landing smack bang in the middle of the light and dark side of Kerbin. I'm just desperately hoping our reaction wheels can hold a retrograde heading. So Javelin, Ivanka, Colton, hold on to your pants. We're re-entering at 3 kilometers per second. Couple of explosions. The heat shield has come off, but it's held as we pop the parachutes. As you can see, a couple of things are blown up, including the RTGs. But we're back in the atmosphere, and we have armed parachutes with 3 Kerbals, safe and sound. And I gotta say, what a very scenic ending to this trip during a sunset as we prepare for a wet landing, but a landing nonetheless, which is more than can be said about when they were stranded. And as you can see, the heat shield just kind of falls off and splashes down there. Wonderful. And hundreds, 50, 10, and splash down. We've done it. One more gravity scan. And let's recover this vessel, shall we? Welcome back, guys. You've brought us over 1,500 science points, which is incredible, especially given the fact that the Kerbal Orbital Lab is now hammering away and will eventually give us another 500. And of course, we did get some of this as well from the passive breaking ground experiments we've set up. But in the meantime, our Kerbals have got some ribbons. Javelin has got the Research 9 splashdown landing on Kerbin collision ribbon. The G-Force, I think that's 14. Mach 2 landing on Moon. The first Moon docking ribbon. Kerbin orbit. Heavy vehicle launch. And 30% SRB ribbon. Wonderful. Now Ivanka. Research 15. Splashdown ribbon, collision ribbon, G-Force 14, endurance ribbon, the Moon EVA ribbon, the Moon orbital EVA ribbon, landing on Moon ribbon, first Moon docking, heavy vehicle launch ribbon, and once again the 30% SRB ribbon. Colton has also got the Research 10 ribbon, the collision ribbon, the G-Force 14 ribbon, the endurance ribbon, the landing on Moon ribbon, the first Moon docking ribbon, Moon EVA ribbon, the Moon orbital EVA ribbon, the heavy vehicle launch ribbon, and 30% SRB ribbon. Wonderful. I think it only makes sense that these guys get the G-Force 14 ribbon, especially given Javelin and his former service, right? Must be like just like the good old times. As of course we're not done just yet. I think we need to manually award a certain ribbon to the Kerbals who have survived this mission. As we just have a look to see which one could fit. I have an idea as to which one we might be able to give. But of course, what's the harm in having a look? As we're just having a look. Maybe one of the custom ribbons, although those don't really equate to much. Maybe Kerbal Kinds? Or that might be a retirement ribbon. Ah yes, Honorary Retirement Award. So not just yet, maybe one day, but as it stands, definitely not. Wings for piloting a plane in the atmosphere, no. Space Search and Rescue, awarded for being involved in a search and rescue mission in space. Spot on, right. So congratulations Colton, you've been awarded with a Space Search and Rescue ribbon. Ivanka, we're going to award you with the Search and Rescue ribbon too, assuming I can work my way around the UI, which of course I'm not doing a very good job of, given that I've just closed it. So let's try that again. Ivanka, here we go. Award ribbon, Space Search and Rescue. And okay, congratulations Ivanka. And last but not least, Javelin. Where are you, Javelin? There you are. Award ribbon, Space Search and Rescue ribbon. And congratulations, Javelin. So that's 3 Kerbals honorary rewarded with the Space Search and Rescue ribbon for being our only Kerbals to survive such a enduring mission. Now, let's reap and sow our... That's not a word. Let's reap what we've sown, shall we? There we go. Now, R&D. We have 2,000 science to spend. We're able to research aerospace tech which of course comes with a rapier engines, which can change between closed cycle and air breathing, which is very good. So there's also an narrowband scanner in experimental science, which comes with some larger holding tanks as well, which would be useful at some points, although I'm not particularly sure. Aerospace tech, I do want to build some more planes and some more shuttles, so yes please. And we are more or less done when it comes to aviation. We have some heavy bits to do. We should also go for nano-lathing, because there's that one adapter in there which I've been needing more often than not, but haven't been able to unlock. So we finally got that out of the way. Heavy aerodynamics, yes please. Some massive Mark III cargo bays. And here we go. This is the state of our tech tree as it stands. We have 214 science done, as you can see in the top there. But as I previously mentioned, guess what, ladies and gents? We're not done just yet, as we are going to eventually go and have a look at the Kerbal Orbital Lab. Here we go. And if we have a look at the processing bay, it's actually full of science. It's completed. So let's transmit this back to the Space Centre, shall we? As we just go through the process of uploading data now. We have more than enough electric charge owing to the sheer number of batteries we have on board. As we are halfway. 70%. We're almost there, guys. 80. 90. And upload complete, providing us with an additional 500 science points. Wonderful. So that gives us 714, which is enough for the experimental aerodynamics node. Although that does also give us enough for field science and advanced, not advanced motors. Not on top of this, I don't think, but it's worth a look maybe. Because field science gives us some more rugged rover wheels, which if you've been watching this series for a while, you would know that we are in a bit of a need for, given our latest shenanigans when it comes to rovering. Although, as it stands, I think the advanced aerodynamics, when it comes to building shuttles and getting stuff to space, is more needed than not. So, here we go then. Once again, the state of our tech tree. We have actually almost finished it, guys. We've only got 4 nodes to go, 2 of which are quite expensive, but the other 2, I think, may be affordable. But in the meantime, as you can see, I have just turned off HDR on ToughFX, so we will no longer be getting that horrible graphics bug. We need to get the station back to Kerbal orbit, because it's done around the moon. Once again, it's completed all its lunar science, and it's about time we get it home. So here we go. As we plot out a manoeuvre node, we have just over 2,000 meters per second worth of delta V to make this work, and I think that will be absolutely more than enough. So, as you can see, it is a little bit wobbly, but that's nothing we can't handle. As you can see, the RCS is constantly having to correct itself. This might be owing to the orientation of the engines not being completely 100% correct, but it's enough for our RCS and reaction wheels to compensate for. So here we go. We have a nice periapsis of 100 kilometers around Kerbal, as we time warp to said periapsis. As we're just going to bring ourselves pointing retrograde in order to circularize this orbit. Going to burn a little bit before we hit our periapsis. Reason being is because we may end up passing it with how inefficient our atomic motors are. And as you can see, we've just arrived at our periapsis. So we're just going to burn for a little while longer. I think we're going to bring the apoapsis down to roughly 1 million before we kind of stop and do another pass. And here we go, second time, second burn. Ultimately, the goal is to have an equatorial orbit of roughly 100 by 100. As you can see, the periapsis is actually moving away from us now, because we're getting to that point of our engines basically outpacing us. Here we go. 105 by 106 roughly. It's not bad. I'm wondering if we need to do a slight inclination change, although having a look, we are going straight over the Space Centre, so we're just going to walk to this manoeuvre node here just to see if this manoeuvre is entirely necessary, although as you can see, I think we decided against it in the end. because once again we're just going to pass over the top of a space sensor, so there's no point. And that, ladies and gents, is more or less mission complete, as of course we just clean out the science lab. So Valentina, Bob and Bill are very happy on board. We will need to bring them home at some point, but until then, we are coming up towards the end of today's episode, ladies and gents, so I would like to say thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy today's episode, please do like and subscribe for more KSP and related content, and I'll see you guys in the next one.